Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how you can set up C support on your Visual Studio Code editor on your Windows 11 operating system. So for this you will need two things. First one is obvious, which is Visual Studio Code. So if you haven't installed Visual Studio Code, I will recommend you to install it. It's a very easy and simple process, and if you don't know how to install Visual Studio Code, I will put the link of the video in which I have shown how you can install and use Visual Studio Code. And once you have Visual Studio Code, we need a second tool which is called a compiler, right? So a compiler will help you to compile your C and C++ code on any operating system. So for Windows, we are going to install the MinGW compiler. So let's start with that. So first of all, open your favorite browser and search for MinGW. And in the search result, you will see some websites. So don't click on the first website which you will see here, which is from SourceForge. You need to open this website which says mingw-w64.org. So just click on this link which says mingw-w64.org. And once this website opens, you will be able to see the overview here. And on this website, you can click on the downloads link here. So here you will be able to see all the download link for MinGW for different operating systems. So the one we are looking for is the Windows version. So we are going to click on this link which says MinGW W64 builds. So just click on this link, which is going to open this kind of window again. And from here you can download the MinGW builds from SourceForge. So you need to click on this link now, right? So SourceForge link was shown directly in the search result, but you need to go through this website in order to come to this website. And once you are redirected to the sourceforge.net website, you will see that MinGW 64-bit installer exe file will be downloaded on your Windows 11 operating system. So once this file is downloaded, I'm going to click on this file. And then you will see this warning which says, do you want to allow this app from unknown publisher to make changes on your device? I trust this, so I will click on yes here. And I'm going to minimize this browser. And you can see MinGW installer has been started on my Windows 11 operating system. So on the first window, I just need to click on next here, which is going to start the installation. Here you can choose the version for MinGW. So I'm going to choose the topmost option, which is 8.1.0 at the time of making this video. You can also choose the architecture. I'm going to choose x86-64, and then you can choose the threads. So generally for threads, I always choose POSIX, but you can also choose Win32 also. Also exception, you have two options. I will leave it as default. And then you have the build revision. I will leave it as default also, and then click on next. And this will be the location where your MinGW compiler will be installed. So you can see it will be installed in the program files. MinGW directory will be created, and then this folder will be created, right? So if you don't have the good reason to change this location, just leave it as default. And also you can leave this checkbox as checked, which is going to create a shortcut for your MinGW compiler tool. So I'm going to click on next now, which is going to start the download of all the files and packages for your MinGW tools. So just wait for this process to reach to the 100% mark. So now after some time, I can see this window which says click next to continue the installation. So I'm going to click on the next. And now I can see this message which says MinGW has been successfully installed, and I can click on finish to complete the installation. So let me click on the finish button. So once I click on the finish button, MinGW is installed on my Windows operating systems. So now once MinGW is installed, first of all, we need to know the location where MinGW is installed. So at the time of installation, you might have noted the location. So let me show you the default location where MinGW will be installed. So you need to go inside the C directory and then go inside program files, and then you will be able to see this mingw-w 64-bit folder here, and then this folder will be there. So this is the location where mingw is installed. Then you need to go inside mingw64, and here under the bin folder you will see all the files which will help you to compile your C or C++ programs. Okay, so go until the bin folder, right? And you need to copy this path. Now we need to set the environment variable for mingw so that we can use GCC or G++ command on our Windows command prompt or PowerShell or terminal. So for that, what you need to do, you just need to click on search and then search for edit env, and it's going to show you this result which says edit environment variables for your account, and you can see this window is going to open, right? Now if you can't find this edit environment variable window using the search option, then you can always open the control panel, and then once control panel opens, you need to view by category here, and then click on system and security, and then once again click on system here, which is going to open the settings app, and here it's going to show you in about section this link which says advanced system settings. So just click on that and then click on environment variables, which is also going to open the same window. So you can choose any one of the method. So once this environment variables window opens, select path under system variables and then click on edit and then click on new here. Okay, so it's going to allow you to add a new environment variable, and then just copy the path until the bin folder inside your mingw 64-bit folder. Okay, so this path is until bin folder. Okay, and once you copied it, you can just add this path here inside your environment variables, and then just press enter, which is going to add your path, and then click OK here, and then click OK, and then once again click on OK. And now you can close all the windows here, and now we can test our GCC and G++ versions and commands, right? So you can open the command prompt by just pressing CMD, and then open the command prompt from the result. And once the command prompt is open, here you can just write GCC space -- version and then press enter. And if you see some result which looks like this, that means GCC command is working successfully on your Windows 11 operating system. Similarly, you can also check the G++ command, which is also used to compile your C++ programs. So it's also going to show you this kind of result here. So once you see this kind of result, that means your GCC and G++ commands are working. So once you have mingw compiler and Visual Studio Code on your Windows operating system, let's create a C program and let's see how we can set up a C program with Visual Studio Code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder on my desktop. You can create a folder at any location on your Windows operating system. So that let me right click here and then let me just select new and then create a new folder. I'm going to name my folder as C apps and then press enter, and then I'm going to go inside this C apps folder. Then I can right click on this folder, and then I can click on show more option, and I can see this open with code option. So I can just click on open with code, which is going to open Visual Studio Code in this folder. Okay, so you can see C apps is open, right? Here you can just click on I trust the author, and you can see the C apps folder has been opened on Visual Studio Code, right? You can do that, or if you are a fan of command line, you can open the command line. So right click here and then click on open in terminal, and once the terminal opens, you can even open the Visual Studio Code
in this C apps folder by just writing code space dot. This means I want to open the Visual Studio Code in the current directory. So I'm going to press enter, which is also going to open Visual Studio Code in the current directory in which I am present. So right now I'm present in the C apps folder, and that is what it's going to open in Visual Studio Code. Now inside the C apps, let me create a very simple C file. So I'm going to click on this new file button. I can even click on file and then click on new file, and from here I can create a new file, right? So let me just create a file by clicking on this new file button, and then I'm going to name my file as main.c and then press enter. Now as soon as I just create a main.c file, you are going to see some kind of notification where Visual Studio Code is going to detect that you want to create a C program, and it's going to suggest you to install the related C or C++ extensions. If it doesn't show any suggestions, you can always go to the extension tab. So just click on this extensions tab and then search for C and C++. Okay, so C/C++. And once you search for C and C++, the top extension here is from Microsoft. You can see, you can just select here this extension, and then in your case you are going to see the install option. I have already installed this extension. In your case you are going to see the install button here, so you just need to click on install. So this C and C++ extension from Microsoft, which is the developer for Visual Studio Code, is going to run your C or C++ program. Is going to help you to debug or browse your C or C++ program, and it's going to also give the IntelliSense capability in your C or C++ program. So just install this, and once you have installed this, all the features of this extension will be available on your Visual Studio Code editor. You can also see you have other extensions like C or C++ themes here. So it's going to look like this. So whatever extensions you can see related to C or C++, I will suggest you to install all of them. They are going to help you to better run your C or C++ programs on Windows operating system in Visual Studio Code. Right now you can see reload is required for this extension, so I can just click on reload and it's going to reload my Visual Studio Code. So now let me just go to this Explorer section here where I have created the main.c file. I can write a very simple C program here, which is going to ask for two numbers, and it's going to just add these two numbers and show us the result, right? This is a very simple program you can find anywhere on the internet. Now, in order to run this program, what you can do, you can either click on this terminal and open a new terminal, and using GCC you can run your C program, which is by just using the normal terminal command, right? You can also create a build task here. So you can see there is this option called run build task. So I'm going to click on this run build task, and it's going to give me this suggestion which build task I want to create. Here it says gcc.exe because I have created the C file, and Visual Studio Code is going to recognize that this is a C file, and that's why it's giving us this gcc.exe option. So I'm going to just click on this, which is going to start building my program. You can see starting build, and you can see the build is successful. So my C program has been compiled successfully, and you can see main.exe file has been created once the build is complete. You can even run this GCC command in your terminal by opening a new terminal. So you can click on this plus sign and it's going to open the default command prompt. In my case, it's PowerShell. You can even open the command prompt from here. So you can see this is the command prompt. So you can either use PowerShell or command prompt to compile your program also, right? I have used this inbuilt capability of Visual Studio Code to build my program. Let me show you how you can build the program using the command line also. So here I can write gcc.exe and then I can give the name of my main.c file. So let me give the name of my file and then -o and then the name of my output file, which will be the executable file. So I can name it as main2.exe file, for example, right? Main exe file is already created by this gcc build option. So I can create a second exe file and I can run this, and you can see this main2.gcc file is created. Now, in order to run these exe files are the output of your compilation of your C program, right? So when you want to run your C program, you just need to give this command. So whatever is the name of your exe file, you can give the name of your exe file, for example main.exe file, right? So I want to run this main.exe file. I can just type main.exe, and in PowerShell it's going to autocomplete. So I can just type main.exe here, and then when I press tab, it's going to just give dot backslash automatically to your file, and then when you press enter, it's going to ask me for the first number, because my program is asking me to enter the first number and the second number. So I'm going to enter 2 as the first number, 5 as the second number, and it's going to show me the sum of these two numbers. This is what this program is doing, right? In command prompt, you can just write main.exe and then press enter, and once again I am going to give the first number and then the second number, and it's going to give the sum of these two numbers. So main.c is the file where you write your program, and main.exe or main2.exe is the output of your program, which you can run on the terminal using Visual Studio Code. Now let's say I want to debug my program. How can I do this? So I can put a debugger option here. So this is called the breakpoint. So I can go to any line and I can put the breakpoint on each and every line. And when I go to debug option, so when I click on debug option, I will be able to see all my breakpoints here, right? So I can see my breakpoint on line 6 and line 9. I can even put the breakpoint on line 12 and it will be added here. You can toggle all the breakpoint, which means they will be disabled, and once again toggle, they will be enabled. You can just remove all the breakpoint using these options. So this is how you can add or toggle or remove your breakpoints. In order to run your program in debug mode, you can click on run and debug, and once you click on run and debug, you can select your debugger. In our case, we have installed mingw, which comes with GDB debugger. So you can click on C++ GDB, and once you click on C++ GDB, you will be able to see this gcc.exe option. So I'm going to click on this gcc.exe option, and once I click on gcc.exe option, my program is going to run, and you can see the debugger has been started. And you can see when the debugger starts, you will be able to see all these options here. So you can see at the top this run or continue option, step over option, then step into option, and then step out option. So you can see I have created my first breakpoint on line 6, so the program execution stopped on this line. I can now see all the variables or local variables here. So you can see in num1 there is a value of 16, which is a garbage value because we haven't assigned any value to it. If we have assigned, for example, num is equal to 0, then it will show the 0 value. If you don't initialize your variables, it's going to take some garbage value initially. Then I can click on step over, which is going to go to this code where I will be asked to provide a number. I can provide a number here, for example, and then my program execution stopped to the second breakpoint, which is this one. I can step over, I can provide a second number and then press on continue, and then my program execution stops at sum is equal to num1 plus num2. So I can just step over once again to the next line, and you can see sum value is 17, which is the sum of 8 and 9, and it's going to print this text once I click on continue here. You can see the output is printed here. So this is how you can use the debugger for the C program on Visual Studio Code. So this is how you can set up the C programming setup on your Visual Studio Code. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video.